I greet all of you, friends, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome you once again to this important session. This is a continuation of the first module we discussed on ethics, and it is the module 2. Hopefully within the next 60 minutes or so, we're going to have an in-depth discussion about the main challenge in delivering public services and goods, which is corruption. To exhaust the topic, we are going to discuss three main topics, namely the meaning of the concept of corruption, the concept of conflict of interest, and the relationship between corruption and accountability. But we are going to focus more on public service delivery, because whether we are directly into public sector organization or an NGO or community-based organization, all of us focus on providing public goods and public services. So it is important for us to address these three critical issues. So let's start with the concept of ethics. It's ethics and corruption. So I want us to first and foremost try and define the concept of ethics. One, let's agree that ethics is regarded as one of the slippery concepts in the discourse of public sector management or even private sector management, simply because it is difficult to have a universally accepted definitions. Why? Because people use it in different contexts. So depending on the background and the context that one is using the concept of ethics, such a person may define it differently. However, we need to still have some kind of working definition for our purpose. And so it is in this context that we are going to look at ethics as a kind of moral principles and values that govern the behavior of groups and individuals in relation to deciding on what is right and wrong. Ethics is about behaving according to expected norms, expected ways, so that in all cases one is able to choose between what is right and what is wrong. So when we talk about ethics, we are more or less talking about standards that meet expectation of society or organization in deciding between right and wrong, evil and good, and profane and sacred. In most cases, when we talk about ethics, we are talking about expected standards defined by where we find ourselves. That is why it's very difficult to find a universal definition, because what is ethics in one context may not be defined as ethics in a different context. And so it is important for us to understand that this is how we are approaching the concept of ethics, so that when we relate it to corruption, we will have a basis to continue with our discussion. There are so many things that happen on day-to-day basis, especially those who are in a position of making decisions and acting on behalf of their organizations. And these actions, these decisions must always distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. The right must not be defined by the person who is involved or the actor. It must be defined by societal norms. It must be defined by the organizational culture expectation. And this must coincide with the actor's decision and preferences. And in the process of doing this, acting, in the process of providing services and goods, interacting with people, in the process of making payment, receiving income, in the process of doing whatever we do on a daily basis, there are specific forces that sometimes compel people to do what is wrong. You are supposed to choose between right and wrong. You are supposed to choose the right over wrong. But due to certain pressures and forces, in several instances, people are compelled, consciously or unconsciously, to choose wrong over right. It is when we choose wrong over right that we say that the behavior is unethical. And so, but if you are able to choose right over wrong, we say that the behavior is ethical. The question is, what force people? Everyone wants to be described as, look at the man. He's very honest, he's very sincere, the man is fair, the man is kind, the man is good. Oh, this man is like, we all want people. When you walk around and people pass such comments, we enjoy them. So why is it that we find it very difficult to do things that will attract such comments? And that is what we're going to discuss. These are forces. Sometimes, even though we are in charge, we become powerless. We are not able. They are so powerful that we yield to such forces and we do the wrong thing. And these forces come from two main sources. And I want us to get that clear. The forces that compel people to do wrong things over right come from two main sources. One very important source is where we are. That is the internal forces. If you are in an organization, there are so many factors within the organization that can force you to do the wrong thing. So for instance, you are in charge of handling the petty cash, or you are in charge of making payments. The rules are clear that you only release check, you only make payments, you only do this when you received a clearly signed, dated, stamped invoice or memo instruction from your boss. That is it. And you have been following this. Let's think about a scenario. You are there, and then Friday afternoon you receive a call. You know, in most of our countries, Friday is the last working day. Saturdays, most organizations don't work. You receive a call from your boss who is somewhere, has traveled, and your boss tells you that, we are supposed to process this payment for this person. I'm not there. It is approaching closing time. The person just spoke with me. It's long overdue, so kindly release the money to her. When I come, you do the paperwork. What will you do? The minister finishes and hangs up. He wouldn't even wait for you to make a comment, to say, and then you see the person entering the office. What will you do? Will you release the money? Or you insist that the person go until your boss comes and then signs the memo? I'm talking about the force. Most people will not be able to say no to this payment. You release the money. But that is not appropriate. It's unethical. In fact, even if it is found out later on that you released the money before the memo was prepared, you could be fired. And so internally, sometimes for fear of your boss, we act wrongly. The person is coming for his or her check. Your boss sees the person in the window and then tells you that, hey, there is a woman wearing yellow shirt. When she enters, tell her that I'm out of the office. What will you do? That's what we mean by internal forces. Your colleague, you use the same office, you share the same office, your colleague steps out to go and do some kind of private thing and tells you, okay, John, Joan, Vida, Cecilia, I'll be back in an hour's time, and your boss enters some 10 minutes and asks about your colleague's whereabouts. What will you say? Covering up for your boss. So many things, but all these forces are coming from within the organization. And then we have the ones that come from outside the organization. And one of them is, it could be from your religious leader, a young Muslim lady receiving a call at dawn from the imam, asking that one of the people appearing for the interview is my niece or is my dad to attend. You even feel honored that you have received a call from the imam. What will you do? From your relatives, from your old schoolmates, and from... So it is these forces that combine, that compel people to do the wrong thing. I will not spend my time on that, but I want us to understand that whenever people are in a state that compel them to do the wrong thing, whatever happened is either coming from within the organization and it's coming from the outside the organization. And there are so many specific causes, things that force people to do the wrong thing. And I've listed as many as 9 or 10 here, and I'm sure you can continue to add and add and add. Causes of unethical behavior. I won't spend my time on the corruption because we are going to discuss it later on. But corruption, the desire to appropriate public resources to serve personal interests, is one of the main causes. Societal standards. You all know in your countries, in Nigeria, in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, La Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, the Gambia, Mali, we all know that there were things that a decade ago, you dare not try it. Some of us, when we were kids, who are you to go outside and come home with gifts? You receive some lashes and you'll be sent out to go and give it to whoever gave it to you. Just a normal gift. But these standards were so high. Dress codes and the way we talk, the way we have to relate to people, the way we have to, we needed to be so sincere. You can't lie. These standards were used to raise us. So once we are raised and you grow up and you are employed to work, you already have these value systems. You find it very difficult to lie, to steal in the organization. Some years ago, elders in society will question sources of people's money. If you become wealthy, suddenly you are labeled. And no one will even want to allow their daughter to come and marry from that family. Today, what is happening? All these standards have vanished. Society now embraces wealth. In fact, even when they know clearly the source is not good. Now society accepts all kinds of things. And so these standards have vanished. And if these standards are not there, and most of you are aware of this decision-making model of garbage in, garbage out, where you are going to pick the accountant from, people are lying there already. Where you are going to pick your auditor from, it's very easy for people to use shortcut to make money. Where you are going to pick your procurement officer from, the person is already pocketing part of the money that was given to him to go on errand. And so these people coming already, they have been corrupted from where they are coming from. So the society itself is rotten. And you cannot get angel from the devil's camp. So even from day one, as you recruit them, these people are corrupt. And when they come there, it's just a matter of time and opportunity, and they will exhibit the unethical behavior. Apart from that, society also put pressure on people to do certain things. They'll question you. The two of you went there, you work in the same organization. How come he's built and you are still doing this? Look at the car your friend is driving. And so societal standards compel people to do wrong things. It's very important. What about the economic environment? Some of our countries, look at how much money people receive, how much people earn. And so we say that in Africa, all of us are magicians. You need to be a magician or a special managing director. You need to have a special skills to manage affairs. Otherwise, you cannot survive, because what you earn is always far less than how much you need to survive. So these worse economic conditions also compel people. So the young lady who is in charge of 20,000 Ghana cedis, 20,000 naira or 100,000 naira or whatever currency that we have, so much money as petty cash. She disburses it and accounts for it at the end of every month, and this person is paid peanuts. The landlady is threatening to eject the lady, or the young man has a challenge, needs to pay the children's school fees. The salary finishes 10 days after receiving, and the cash is there. What do you expect? The person cannot always be an angel. So economic conditions are so terrible, they are so bad. And when they are like this, In fact, there are people who genuinely are not corrupt. And so there are, I call some people situational thieves. The person is not a thief, no. Given average support, the person will never want to steal. Some people want to defend their dignity. They want to have, peace of mind. They want their conscience to be clean. But I can assure you, this person will not close and walk home when there is money that he's taking care of in the drawer in the office. And so the economic condition is a serious factor. Political will and patronage. Politicians, because you voted for me, I give you the position, whatever you do, no one is punished. And there are so many examples, that when people talk about people taking money and taking bribes, I remember in Nigeria, your former president, Goodluck, said on national TV that those people who have been taking money to him is not stealing. Yes. And in Ghana, we also have a situation where people, for no work done, are paid several millions of US dollars, even when they themselves admit that they did no work. And the court says the person should refund the money, and no one is going for the money. And it is also in Liberia. You find it in the Gambia. La Côte d'Ivoire, you have your own version. So the politicians don't have the desire and the will. And because of that, it's patronage. Once I voted for him and I had that position because of the vote, I can do whatever I want. Greed and selfishness, excessive love for profit. We are poor. It's understandable. But I can challenge you that if you go to Nigeria, you can find about, let's say minimum, 1,000, just 1,000 Nigerians who have a minimum of $10 million each. Don't we have that? We have more than that. Go to a country like Canada. There is no state scholarship. No Canadian government scholarship for any Canadian. But go there and you find out that they have over 5,000 independent scholarship schemes. All of them established by individuals. What do we use our money for? In Africa and West Africa, what do we use our money for? You come to Ghana, there are people who can decide to establish a new business every single day. They make billions of dollars annually. Not a single dollar will be put in a fund to support education, or Holy Hearts, or this cancer research, or no. It's across the continent. All of us will wait, and sometimes in Christmas, they will just go to the orphanages and that, and they buy some, small rice and put a chicken thigh on it, and then the TVs will be there to show that they are so honored, they are so kind, they are so good. No! Go to our educational institutions across Africa and look for the scholarship schemes there. Most of them come from the people outside. So we are so greedy. And the people who are making so much money, I don't want to mention names because of the issues. The people who are making so much money and their businesses are making billions of dollars and they keep expanding and they want to have branches in all the countries in the world. Go and find out how much they pay their workers. Some pay their workers as little, some of the workers as $100 or $200 a month. Meanwhile, they have so much money. Some own as many as 25 houses across the world. And in each of the houses, I can challenge you, you find a minimum of 3 top-class vehicles parked there. Interestingly, most of them have not more than 3 kids, 1 wife. And yet, not a single will be put somewhere to help build capacity to fight corruption. And so we are so selfish, we are so greedy, we so love profit. And because of that, whenever there's an opportunity, we cut corners. So you go to these countries, the people who evade taxes are the ones who own the properties. And the poor ones are the ones who pay. Implementation, law enforcement, rules, in discipline. Who is to ensure discipline? The person is there collecting bribe. And so, because there's so much indiscipline, and you can run away with indiscipline, you can drive on the shoulder of the road, a policeman arrests you, and then you part with 10 Ghana cedis, which is about $2.5. You just give it to him and then you drive away. And so why not So much. And so people engage in all kinds of inappropriate behaviors, which we describe as unethical behavior, because of some of these things. The concept of nepotism, because of our extended family system. And the extended family system puts so much burden on me and you that you have to take care of yourself, your family, and your relatives, your siblings, and that is from the little income you earn. So if God helps you and you're in charge of recruitment, and your younger sister has completed university, even though no experience, and you're looking for HR assistant, and the person is there, why not? You have the option of giving the job to her, so she'll take her trouble away from your house and go and rent your own apartment. You have your privacy, and then you can also share your little income with your nuclear family. Or you leave her home, and then she'll continue to be parasite on you. And so this is the nepotism, my old school boy, my old school girl, my church fellow, my this, which is not elsewhere. And these forces compel people to do the wrong thing. Gifts. I don't know about your countries, but in Ghana, we have what we call the tradition. It's a national culture. Gift giving and gift expectation. And so people expect that they are giving gifts. And when they give you a gift, they expect that you give back someday. And we all know that in ethics in management, it is established that there is automatic imposition of an obligation on the recipient of a gift to pay back someday. So once you receive the gift, either you pay back today, or it's a matter of time, you pay back. And interestingly, when you receive the gift, it comes to you, you and you alone. You take it home. But when you are paying back, you use your organizational resources to pay back. Either admission slots, or a contract, or something that you use to pay back. And that is unethical. So it is the gift that is making people behave unethically. It is important for us to understand that even though it is not all these that are bad, but they will lead us to do the wrong thing. And so what then are the specific wrongdoings? The wrongdoings when it comes to, because we are not following the rules. One, clear corruption. How do we award contracts? How come one company is winning all the contracts in the country? Your country, one company, every road, the company is constructing it. Why? Is it that there were companies who were winning all the contracts some 5 years, and now they are not getting any contracts to win and to execute? Why? On what basis do we award contracts? And so wrongful award of contracts, which is a clear corrupt practice, is one of the forms that is very common when it comes to managing public service, when it comes to even your own organization. I don't know how you handle yours. How do you? Are you sincere? Can you sincerely say that you follow an objective, clearly defined criteria in awarding contracts, and that you give it to the best bid, the person who provides better resources, better proposal, funding mechanism, promises top quality? Is that the person who wins the contract, or the person who is introduced to you, or the person who is able to pay 10%, or the person who is able to influence someone somewhere? Another important form of unethical behavior is the unwholesome products that we find on our market. On our market, you buy the item and clearly you test it and you realize it is not good, especially again in Africa, whether we manufacture them or they are manufactured elsewhere. In fact, even if they are manufactured elsewhere, we are the very people who condone with the manufacturers that, oh, don't put quality materials in there. You come, when you get there, we know how to push it. That is it. It's another form. Business practices in Africa, on our continent, in your country. Look at the mining sector, how they are destroying our water bodies. Look at that. Do you care? Yet we encourage it, And those of us who are involved in certain organizations, you know and you understand what I'm talking about. And so it is very important for us to understand that there are so many things that are not done properly, but we are the ones who perpetrate them. We support them. And so therefore we should be able to do something about it. Now what has come is sexual demands. It's very common. Because of unemployment, young ladies are looking for a job, and then that is the demand. Contract, business contract. You get the supplies if you do ABC. And that is also becoming a major. It's a major. In some years back, it was unheard of. If you do it and it comes up, oh, now it's so common. It's so common to the extent that even when some young persons are going to look for it, they are prepared to offer it, to do it. It could be for examination results, it could be for contract, it could be for training, recruitment, it could be for employment, it could be for selection for a contract, a scholarship award, for anything. They will do anything because of poverty. And that facilitates unethical activities. And so it is very important for us to understand that ethical behaviors are all over us, including in business. When we talk about business ethics, we are talking about expected way of organizing business. There are standards. You're expected to do ABCD when it is business. If you're able to follow them, we say that there is ethics in the business. Otherwise, we see that there is unethical business practice. And so it is important for us to know that in whatever we do, there are standards. When it comes to business ethics, it is very important for us to understand that about 5 different categories of people must agree on the standard that we are using. The standards that define business ethics are established by customers. They have eyes, they see, they experience, they know, they learn from other places. We have the government or the state is responsible for all of us. They regulate and they must be in a position to do that. Competitors, when you are doing it, you are producing A, he is producing A, she is also producing the same A. What are you doing? How are you, And so there are some products like cement, the cement, especially in Ghana. It's one person wants to hijack the market to the extent that whoever tries to start something, they have a way of killing the industry. They will have a way of killing the industry. I remember some years back, several entrepreneurs started processing fruit in Ghana into juice, pineapple or citrus or something. And because they were small scale, it was very difficult for them to get the bottles. And so they will start with initial capital. They are able to make a certain number of bottles, and then they will start processing. When people buy them, they are not able to demand the bottles back instantly. That affected their sales. So what they did was, when you buy it, you take the bottle away, and later on they send people to go around and buy back the bottles. I was shocked to learn that Coca-Cola decided to hire people to go around the country and buy all those bottles. They bought the bottles and they sent them to a place and decided to crash them, so that the small-scale entrepreneurs will not get the opportunity to get the bottles back to go and process their juice. So they just buy the thousands of bottles, put them at a place, they use a machine, and they crashed all. So these people couldn't find the bottles, and it was becoming too expensive for them to make fresh bottles to bottle the drinks. And because of that, suddenly, all these juice production are going down in Ghana. We're talking about acceptable behavior standards. And these are things that are killing our country. They are killing our countries. They are killing the continent. How are products assembled or manufactured or made in your country? And some will do everything to make sure that after the processing or after the manufacturing, the price is so low that no matter what you do, people will not buy yours. You can't compete. Your business collapses, and then they start increasing their prices. It's very important. And so several factors come together to establish the business ethical standard. And as I mentioned, competitors, customers, government regulation, the general public, and then other interest groups. For instance, you can have consumer groups coming to challenge product quality, or coming to support, coming to encourage, coming to praise a particular product, and that helps in establishing the standard. And so it is very important that at the business level, as we've explained, there are critical ethical issues. Side deals, partners, discrimination, negligence, and laziness are also rampant. When you talk about side deal, what does that mean? Instead of going through the mainstream to have your contract to deal, to bid, we all bid. Whoever presents the best bid is given the contract. We can decide to go and lobby. In fact, sometimes they even bargain in secret and then pay bribe, so that when it comes, this becomes just a mere formality, even the contract. It's very important. And businesses do discriminate. They do. Sometimes they team up against a particular business so that it collapses. There are so many things happening, but I want us to focus more attention on ethics, corruption. Ethics and corruption. And so before we come to the corruption, it is important for us to understand why must we? Because it costs a lot. It's very expensive to be ethical. If you want to do the right thing, you pay so much. Why? Because all of us, you are working, even though you want to make an impact, your personal interest is also at stake. So if someone will give you a kickback of $20,000 and you are saying, because I want Ghana to move forward, I will continue living on my $2,000 a month or on my $1,000 a month. What are you saying? What about your personal interest? What about your... So you lose that. That is a cost to you in order to do the right thing. So why must I sacrifice my personal interest to do the right thing? And that is some of the benefits of behaving ethically, especially at the business level. What do you gain by doing the right thing? One, you are able to win the confidence of stakeholders. It doesn't matter. It could be students that you are teaching. It could be community that you are providing services. They know you build boreholes. And so they meet together. They want to contribute to come and influence you so that you do it for them. And then you tell them, please, I'll give it to you. Keep whatever you brought. Forever, these people will have confidence and trust and respect for you and for your business. So it is very important. It builds reputation for you. It creates a good image. Oh, this man is very kind. No matter what you do, he will never take anything from you. This business, they are so nice. When they say yes, it means yes, because they do things right and they will do it for you at no cost, except the actual cost that you have to pay. And so it is very important for us to understand when an organization is very ethical and the workers know that everything is going on right, it generates commitment, motivation. People want to be associated with good things. And so when the image all over, and on a Friday in Ghana, sometimes you wear your organizational shirt and something, you wear, people know, and you hear that they are talking about you positively, and you pretend as if you are not hearing them, you know, your head gets swollen. And so it's very important that when you have this, it goes a long way to affect the motivation and commitment of the employee. Competitive edge, competitive advantage. If anything happens, you are ahead. When other organizations are around to look for partners, organizations to partner with, and they find out about these ethical standards, you are ahead of your competitors. It's very important. And quality, because you don't sacrifice it, you know what you stand for. It avoids critical acts of omission, lower fines, and increased profitability. Ethical behavior enhances leadership, and it generates volunteerism. Even in our own day-to-day activities, when you do things right, and you are going alone, you go home, you wake up in the morning, and you reflect on the things that you did, the person you helped, and you did not take anything back from the person, how do you feel? A sense of good feeling. You don't question yourself. Sometimes you become so embarrassed even though no one knows what happens. And so it's very important for us to understand that ethical standards are very good even though they could be very difficult and challenging. And if we are able to do it, we achieve so many things. But it's important for us to understand that, as I said earlier on, there are forces, temptations. There are so many attractive reasons why people would like to become corrupt. Sometimes you can avoid work. In fact, it's one of the corrupt practices that people don't take notice of. If someone sits down, is taking care of money, at the end of the day, the person takes 100 cedis away without being authorized. You say that the person is stealing. It's corruption. But what if you are paid 100 Ghana cedis a day and with no genuine reason, you stay away from work? What is the difference? The person went to work and took 1 day's salary from the cash, and you decided to take the day off. You have all stolen 100 Ghana cedis. In fact, people steal more time. They steal more time than people who steal money. And they still work freely with free conscience, thinking they have done nothing wrong. I've mentioned nepotism, hiring of friends. Now, I don't know where that is from. When people are looking for public service, when they are going out to the public office for service, before they leave their own residence, their own home, the first thing they do is to talk to a friend and ask the friend, please, I'm going to look for this here in Abuja. Do you know anyone in that office? Before they leave home. That is the beginning of corruption. As soon as you say that, I know the deputy registrar there, then that is, they call it networking. This is negative networking. It is corrupt, it's unethical, and so we hire our friends. Sometimes the people that we try to hire are not known to us. We don't know them. Sometimes even your friend who will bring the person doesn't even know the person. Because people, young persons complete school, you ask them, are you looking for a job? And then they say, I don't know anyone who. I don't know anyone who. You know, nowadays, if you don't know anyone, you won't get a job. What does that mean? It tells us how rotten society has become. So these temptations are there. But are we able to resist the temptation? Are we? No. We call something consuming excessive perks. Yes. You have the right. It's your office. Once you are not taking the things home and they are bringing them to decorate or to make your office more comfortable, people think there's nothing wrong. There is everything wrong. If you want to have the most expensive furniture in your office, the most expensive TV set, the most expensive fridge, the most expensive air conditioner, there in Ghana, when a minister from the same political party is reshuffled and another, the same political party is coming, this person insisted that even the floor tiles be replaced, the windows be replaced, curtains, table. If you are peeling off the tiles to bring a new one, how much more windows and curtains? This is a country, and this is a country where we have the head of Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, the person who is supposed to take care of corrupt complaints against public officials, deciding that because she doesn't want to live in the facility accommodation that her predecessor was living in, she decided to stay in a hotel and spend over $200,000 in hotel bills. Yes, that is what we are talking about, and that is consuming excessive perks. Excessive perks. You qualify to use the laptop, all right, but then to insist that the most expensive laptop in this world should be bought for you is what we are talking about. You are not taking it away, but it is also a corrupt practice. Building empires. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Taking no risk. It is very important. There are some people, like those of you who are religious, who are Christians, there is, I think, something in the Bible that says someone was given a talent to go and work with. The person said, I don't want any trouble. The person hid it. until the time expired and then send the thing back. That is it. I said it earlier when we were discussing our earlier model that it is wrong, it is unethical, it is a very bad management practice to inherit something and not add to the value. There are so many of us as young leaders who wouldn't want to take risk. What if? What if? What if? If you don't take risk, please, you can't make any impact. You need to reflect on the risk. But once it's a gamble, life is gamble. You need to take the right gamble and you win. It's not always that you lose. Otherwise, no one will be at the casino. People win and they lose. Some people make fortunes out of gambling. And so it's very important for us not to say that, no, we are not introducing changes because what if? What if? If you do that, you can never make the necessary impact. You want people to change, to follow your direction. You don't want to risk. And so why will you expect people to risk when you yourself don't want to risk? It's very important. And another potential source of corrupt behavior or unethical behavior is when people have short-run horizon. What does that mean? What it means is that when people believe that I'll be here for only a very short period. That is why some of us, my personal position is that if I have the opportunity to take care of any organization, contrary to the people who always re-engage people who are on retirement, when they are going, they say that they are experienced, so they give them the whole world job to do. I will never do that. If you sit down critically to analyze it, when people are approaching their retirement, that is where they cause damage to the organizations. What can you do to them? They have 1 year to go, so they start amassing wealth. They start engaging themselves in all corrupt practices. Because working conditions are not good, they look at, from now, I won't earn income again. My children are in school. This has happened. I haven't completed my house. So what again? So they just collect whatever. They just take decisions. They don't think because they will not be part next year. The business doesn't belong to them or the organization is not for their fathers or that. And that is that negative attitude. It is so bad. It is so corrupt. It is hurting our organization. And so when they know that they are about to leave, they don't care anything. They don't bother. And that is a major temptation. But I challenge you as a young leader that even if you know you are doing something for a day, you can make a positive impact. You don't need to be there forever, but you can die. Even if they give you 50 years, that you work for 50 years, you can die the next day. And so make sure you leave a legacy. That is it. We want to improve the welfare, the lot of the people. We want to make an impact. And that is why all of us are suffering like this. You are struggling, you are struggling, you are sitting down, listening to this, and you want to, do something. You can do it if you want to do. But never, never assume that because you have to do this only for this short period, you do it anyhow. But it is the temptation. When you are closer to retirement, no one can sack you, no one can fire you. You know you are going to leave the job. Sometimes you are the only one who knows because you are the one who is going to resign. And then, close to the time, you do things anyway. Behave in such a way that people will think you are now coming in. And whatever you do will go on well with you.